Lockwood, and I am interviewing a good friend of mine and special guest, special in many senses of the word, Maryann Butkevitch from College 101 Test Prep. Hello, Maryann. Thank you for allowing me to punish you this way.
Hi, Andy. Thanks for having me on your show.
All right, so for people who don't know you, give us a quick executive summary of your background. Not only your sort of teaching pedigree, but also tell us a little bit about your association with the College Board.
Okay. I was the executive director of the Princeton Review for 5 years, and prior to that, I was a question writer for the College Board. But most notably, I was Minnie Mouse for a day at Disney World.
That's important too. What was we say question writer? Did you make exam questions up?
We wrote exam questions. Yes, I was in charge of the math component back then. There was a section called comparative analysis, and I was in charge of writing and testing questions for the College Board.
So do you typically enjoy torturing kids, or?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the latest and greatest information on the SAT changes. But before we do that, can you explain why the College Board changed the SAT? A lot of people I've heard a lot of rumors and innuendo and urban legend about that.
The official reason, as explained by the College Board, was that they were trying to make a more kinder, gentler, friendlier SAT to align with the Common Core. My take on this is that they wanted it to resemble the ACT more, which was taking up a lot of their market share. You have to remember the SAT is a for-profit company, and they were losing a lot of business.
No, technically they're a nonprofit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, they are poor, underpaid teachers, but they wanted to align themselves to resemble the ACT more, to whom they were losing a lot of market share. So it resembles it. It's much more closely than it did in the past.
All right. So we have now, as of the date we're recording this, we've now gone through, I guess, one cycle where we have gotten results back. So can you just describe what were the biggest or most notable changes, not only in terms of what's, new things that were added, and also talk about things that may have been deleted, or, any other changes that were relevant?
The changes were drastic, quite frankly. The old exam had 10 sections. The new exam has 4 sections, a la ACT. The old exam, there were guessing penalties, where the new exam, no guessing penalty. The old exam was, the math section was all calculator allowable. On the new exam, there's a whole section where you are not allowed to use a calculator. The math is significantly harder on the new SAT than it was on the old SAT. And the results aren't remarkably different than they were a year ago. All the money that was put into it and all the changes that were hyped, and the scores pretty much aligned to where they were this time last year. It's not what you're going to read in the paper tomorrow, but based on my findings and the thousands of kids that I've seen over the last year, the scores are minutely different than they were this time last year on the old format.
So scores are basically the same. So kids did basically the same as they did under the old format?
Well, the new scoring is based on 1,600 back when we took the SAT. The old format was 2,400. But if you take the 2 sections, the math, and the language, these scores, if you align them, the scores are almost, if you overlap them on a scale, they almost match up identically.
So you went to this conference yesterday. What was sort of from the College Board? What was the party line that they were telling you?
How much better kids are doing, how much better received the new exam is.
By whom?
Oh, by the world, by the Pope, by
colleges
kids,
or admissions offices, or
it was really more focused not towards colleges but towards the parents and students.
okay,
That parents
customers,
and students, customers, people who pay their bills.
Okay.
Well, colleges pay their bills too, but that's a whole nother. Their feedback, they say, from parents and students is that they like the new format better. I am not seeing that with the kids who are coming through my door, but and how the results more closely align with what they're learning in school and how much more comfortable students claim to be on the new test.
So do you think there's going to be any more changes coming up from the College Board?
Good question. Do I hope there are more changes? Yes, I hope they go back to the old format. Do I anticipate more changes?
How could they go back to the old format? Wouldn't that just be a big admission that, that they made a mistake or something? There's no way, right?
I don't know. Sometimes a big admission is saying, hey, we made a mistake. I don't know. You're probably not. Do I anticipate more changes? Yes, I anticipate that this test will be computer-based within 2 years. That's my anticipation. That's not based on anything they say. I just following the trend of how the GRE has changed over the years.
Sure.
And the changes it made progressively moving towards the CBT version. The SAT is kind of following the same migration, and I anticipate in 2 to 3 years that the SAT will also be a CBT exam.
That's computer something?
Computer-based, I'm sorry.
Okay.
An adaptive computer.
Fancy lingo.
Yeah. I am so technologically advanced.
So going forward, what advice would you give kids and their parents in terms of whether they should take the new format SAT or the ACT or something else?
I'll give the same advice I'm giving my own students. I'm counseling all students to concentrate on the ACT and not the SAT right now. The materials out there to prepare for the SAT are not good. There's not a lot of them there's not a lot of reliable materials out there for the SAT right now. What's out there is a lot of conjecture because there wasn't a lot of information out there to base the materials on. The ACT is has a much more solid base. It does reflect more traditional learning, and the prep for that is much more reliable. So colleges are accepting either. Traditionally, students do 30% better on the ACT than they do on the SAT. And I think that margin's going to increase even more so now, depending on how they skew the curve to make the new SAT look good.
I heard someone say, for example, that kids who are stronger in math might do better on the new format SAT, whereas kids who aren't as strong in math might do better on the ACT. Is there any truth to that?
And traditionally, stronger math students do better on the ACT than they did on the old SAT. The new SAT math is so Common Core based that good, bad math student doesn't really matter. They haven't learned the skills they need for the analytical part of the math. 80% math, 20% analytical reasoning. These kids didn't go through Common Core yet. The next two batches of kids coming up the ladder, they'll have a better chance at this exam than the current juniors and the rising juniors who haven't had enough exposure to how to take Common Core exams. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. So it sounds like that it's just a crapshoot right now. I'm wondering if the SAT scores, it's probably too early to tell, but can you tell how closely SAT and ACT scores are going to align in the future, or do you have a prediction? I guess we've only had one round, right?
Yeah, I can only base on what I just saw from the March ACT and the April SAT, and the SAT scores based on my sampling. There hasn't been any public disclosure yet. I can only tell by the 600 kids I saw here taking both exams, and the margin was 32%, where last year it was 30%, so it's nominal. However, there's nothing to I don't know how these SAT scores were aligned. In the past, we had a scale to follow, We knew how they were being converted. There's no information on the new conversion.
Okay. But typically that'll evolve with more results, with more data.
Exactly. We need more. We need, the May exams will be out soon. The June exams are, on the horizon, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Fun and sounds very stressful. I'm sure you're getting a lot of panicked calls from parents, mommies, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
the scores were just released, so everybody has a lot of questions, and unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So, they need a reliable place to find their information.
All right. So tell people how to get in touch with you. Either whoever you prefer them to either, whether you want them to call you or check you out online or whatever.
Either you can call us. Our telephone number is 631-364-9080. That's 631-364-9080. Or you can visit our website at college101prep.com or visit our Facebook page. Our Facebook page updates a new topic every day. And again, that's College 101.
Okay. I will make sure that gets posted in this video.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time. That wasn't too bad, right?
Not so bad.
You were so ready for your close-up.
Oh.
I think I need to tell everyone watching that you are maybe the most reluctant promoter of your own business. So I'm glad I could make you uncomfortable. Thank you.
And this is my first interview.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks again, and I'll speak soon.
Thank you, Andy. Bye-bye.